Mix it around.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we are approaching the halfway point of Sha'ban, moving closer to Ramadan. May Allah give us barakah in our Sha'ban and take us to Ramadan, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down His fadl, His grace, His rahmah at all times, but on special days and special nights, there is a special rahmah that comes down. One of those nights is the night of the 15th of Sha'ban, which you will, inshallah, hear about in the talk tomorrow, inshallah, after Maghrib. Ramadan is approaching, and Allah's fadl, rahmah, is very intense in Ramadan. We all know this. The Muslim culture has always been to prepare spiritually for Ramadan, just as we prepare for a wedding, a reception, a social occasion, or we prepare to go and meet a big person, or if there's a job interview, we prepare for that. Also, so likewise, the preparation for Ramadan should be at the same level, at the very least, that we're preparing to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah that He sends down in Ramadan. And this preparation has always been part of the Muslim psyche, part of our civilizational code and value, and part of who we are and what we are. And this is not in the sense of making plans for Eid. This is making plans for ibadah in Ramadan. So what do? So we say today, we sit down today and say, well, this is what I want to do in Ramadan, and I will want to finish this amount of Quran, I want to give this amount of sadaqah and zakat, this is how I want to feed people. Okay, this is the kind of du'as I want to make, and you start. You don't wait for Ramadan, you start today. That's how you prepare. You don't just move into Ramadan, dive into Ramadan. That is not how we do things in the Muslim Ummah. When I talk about the Muslim Ummah, I mean the Muslim Ummah from the 14 centuries, not this Ummah of today. This Ummah of today is very, very behind what we used to do, what we were. So we have to catch up to the previous Ummah of this Ummah in terms of our dedication towards Allah and our dedication towards ibadah and our dedication towards helping people. I'm not saying we do it, I'm just saying we don't do enough. And inshallah, this is the time and this is the year where we should resolve to do these things for the sake of Allah, and Allah will reward us, inshallah, in the other world, so that we become closer to Him and closer to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we have certain tasks and certain obligations and certain duties that we can, inshallah, enumerate in preparation for the great month of Ramadan. Ramadan is a month in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down His angels and opens the gates of Jannah. And the gates of Jannah opening up means that Allah's tawfiq comes to the Ummah, that the Ummah frequents the Masjid more in Ramadan, the Ummah reads the Quran more in Ramadan, and the Ummah gives more in Ramadan, etc., because the gates of Jannah are opened. So the fragrance from there comes to earth. That fragrance propels Muslims to do more ibadah. When you receive the smell from Jannah, which is not physical, it's spiritual, then there are certain stimuli in you that stimulate you to do ibadah more, because the gates of Jannah are open. This is the meaning of the gates of Jannah being opened, that this breeze comes from there, and the Ummah now all of a sudden puts on its switch. So the switch is turned on. What I'm saying is that you can turn the switch on now. Don't wait until Ramadan. Then you will be prepared to receive the divine rahmah and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's fadl. And the gates of Jahannam are closed. And when the gates of Jahannam are closed, then Muslims do not sin as much in Ramadan as they do in other months. So sinning now is stopped and closed because the air from Jahannam doesn't reach the earth. When that air doesn't reach the earth, then there is no impulse and there is no stimuli left in the atmosphere. There are no pollutants in the environment to prompt you to commit sin. And that is the meaning of the gates of Jahannam being closed. And Allah then gives you His tawfiq and stops you from sinning. This is how we prepare for Ramadan. This is how we as Muslims prepare for Ramadan. So you do it now. You stop sinning now. You make a resolution that I'm going to be the best I can this year in this month of Ramadan, inshallah. And you go forward from there. And you do as much as you can to please Allah and to please Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And this is how we see that the Ummah has always been this way, always preparing for the next event, always preparing for the next event. You don't stop in life. Just because you have social obligations, and just because you have family obligations, and just because you have financial obligations, does not mean that you don't have any obligations towards Allah. they also continue. So whether you are busy or not busy in life, you still have to pray at least 5 times a day. And in Ramadan you pray even more. Yeah? So this is how a Muslim must see himself in lieu of his social activities and his family responsibilities and his other obligations. And people now, they come to terms with it. The barakah in a Muslim's life is when he regulates his life according to his ibadah. That if you regulate your life and you say that I'm going to regulate my life according to the times of salat, or according to my dhikr, or according to my recitation of the Quran, or according to what I'm going to do for the ummah, then there is barakah. It shouldn't be that, by the way, I have to do salat also. Yeah, I need to take time out 3 minutes for salat also. It should be the other way around. That I will take time out to fulfill my other responsibility because my preoccupation should be in ibadah. And that's the reason why Allah created us. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have not created the jinn and the ins, human beings, except that they should worship me. Worship here means ibadah in the strict sense. I don't mean feeding your family is ibadah. You must move away from this. This is a secularized version of Islam. It makes no sense in the Quranic context to say that feeding your family is also ibadah. But there's no doubt feeding your family is rewarding. And you should feed your family. Nobody's saying that. But to say that feeding your family is ibadah, that's crazy. That's total nonsense. It's not ibadah. You are rewarded if you feed through halal means. And if you feed through haram means, then you'll be guilty of a sin. It's not designated as a form of worship. Ibadah is something that is designated as a form of worship, formal worship, like salat, saum, zakat, hajj, recitation of the Quran, salawat ala nabi. These are designated for ibadah. Those are ibadat. Everything else is hasanat, good deeds. You're rewarded for good deeds. If you pick up something from the street that's going to harm someone, that is a good deed. You're rewarded, but it's not ibadah. You must understand the difference. It's not a nuance. It's a very simple, straightforward difference that we need to appreciate, because it changes our approach and psychology, especially our worldview. When you look at the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, did he spend 20 hours of the day trying to feed his family? He had 7 wives, mashallah. So was he preoccupied in feeding all 7 wives most of the day, or was he preoccupied in ibadah most of the day? That you gain from seerah, and it's a no-brainer. Look at the Sahaba. Were they preoccupied in feeding their families all day? Or were their hearts attached to the Prophet ﷺ and the Masjid and Salat? Then that's also a no-brainer. When you read the seerah of the Sahaba, the Muslim Ummah became so rich, mashallah, but it became rich on the back of barakah. Not on the back of aggressive business deals. It is barakah. When you read the seerah of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they're advising their people, their followers, their support group, their base, they say you must work from Fajr to Zuhr. And they said this in the 3rd century. As early as the 3rd century, you will find reports like this written. And then after Zuhr you must not work. Then you must engage in ibadah for the rest of the day. SubhanAllah. Obviously in our countries, Fajr is about 6, 7, and Zuhr is about 1. How many hours of the day is that? So what I'm saying is that the barakah of this ummah, the Prophet ﷺ made dua for this ummah to receive barakah after Fajr. He made a dua. Allah, give my ummah barakah after Fajr. Meaning, if you work after Fajr, this barakah through the tongue of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then the rest, especially after Asr. There was no preoccupation of the Muslim after Asr to do business. They all engaged in dhikr, adhkar. They would be with their families for a few minutes here and there. And then after Maghrib and Isha, it was all nawafil. The nawafil were done at night. Or they would study, or they would recite, or they would be in the company of someone who was learned. This was the culture. So we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's fadl on this ummah is with the ummah as long as the ummah regulates its life around ibadah. Around ibadah, which is a very different concept, is a very different worldview. Nowadays, Muslims believe that unless we hoard and amass so much money, Allahu Akbar, in this country, the collective ability and buying power of Muslims is in the billions. Is in the billions. But yet, every year we scream and shout for funds. You'll hear in this masjid also, which is fine. That's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. I don't have a problem. What I'm saying is that if the spending power is in the billions, why do we need to fundraise? Because there's no barakah. Before, it used to be that there was an announcement. In fact, there was no announcement. I know because I've lived this. I've seen this in India while I was studying. I never heard a single announcement in any masjid I went in India in Jumuah for fundraising. Yet all the masajid were taken care of. And India is not a Muslim state where the government comes and tells you that they're going to pay for you and for your masjid. It was done by the impulsive nature of Muslims that we have to do this because we are Muslim. They didn't stand and shout and scream for funds after Jumu'ah. In fact, there were no announcements after Jumu'ah. So what I'm saying is that the barakah in this ummah is when a Muslim regulates his or her life around ibadah. I have to do Fajr. I have to do Zuhr. I have to do Asr. I have to do Maghrib. I have to do Isha. I have to get my Quran in. I have to get this much dhikr in. When you regulate your life this way, then Allah brings barakah to you and to your family. But if your only preoccupation and your obsession is the world, the dunya, amassing more money, more wealth, you're looking at your P&L and your reports and you're looking at your bank statements and you're saying this is going down, this is going down. And you have no concern for what's going to happen to you in your grave, then yes, you're a Muslim. Alhamdulillah, mashallah, Allah keep us, preserve us all. But is that with barakah? Is that without barakah? The beauty of this ummah has always been barakah. As I said, those masajid in India, they're filled. Those of you who know. And the local business community takes care of them. How do they take care of them? That's what they do. And that has been the trend in the Muslim Ummah for generations. And so on, because they all understood that this is a responsibility and we don't need someone to shout at us to tell us how to fulfill our responsibility any more than we need a khatib to tell us to come for Jumu'ah. Is there a khatib there that you've seen who stands on the mimbar and says, people come for Jumu'ah? No. Why? You do it instinctively as your Islamic responsibility. Likewise, there should be no reason why anyone stands to fundraise. No reason whatsoever. That everybody should pitch in and everybody should say, how can I help? The initiative must come from the community, not from the leadership. Because the leadership, if the leadership has only one thing on their mind, and that is, how do I pay the bill for the masjid? Then where is that leadership taken you? You tell me. You talk to any board of any masjid in this country, the only preoccupation they have, how do we pay for all this? Then you think they have time to think about other issues that we have in the community where they can actually lead. And the ulama are constantly pegged down for fundraising, as if they have nothing else to do in the world except fundraise. Fundraise, total madness. Unfortunately, I'm not slandering or complaining. I'm just saying that there has to be a component of barakah in a Muslim's life. That barakah comes through ibadah. Only ibadah. There's only one way. Because this is what distinguishes us from a non-Muslim. A non-Muslim will also have money and wealth and education and organization and system, everything else. But the non-Muslim doesn't have barakah. The barakah is reserved for the ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is derived through ibadah. Through worship of Allah, exclusive worship of Allah, we make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, gives us the tawfiq to, inshallah, manage our Ramadan the way the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam managed his Ramadan. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to do what pleases Him the most. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen.
If you have not yet prayed your sunnah, you can pray your sunnah. But before you start, please make complete rows and let's accommodate everyone. Schools are off today, people are off from work, we have a full crowd. Please accommodate everyone, inshallah. If I can request the front sufuf, stand up please, make the rows, accommodate everyone. Inshallah, let's make this quickly. Jazakallah khair. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First announcement, inshallah, as I announced last weekend, this weekend from today till Sunday, inshallah, we will have the truck from ICNA Relief here at MSI. You might have seen it already, the banner for the open mosque days on the truck. We will be collecting perishable food items for Ramadan baskets for those in the Chicagoland area for Ramadan, inshallah. We have flyers on both of these entrances. We encourage you to, inshallah, bring the items listed on those flyers yourself and help us load it, inshallah, on the truck this weekend, inshallah. If you are not able to do that, the second option also is, inshallah, you can donate towards this cause. On our kiosk, we have a donation, food drive donation tab. You can donate on that or on the MSI app that's on your phone, inshallah. Secondly, tomorrow morning, 11:30 to 1:30, we have the open mosque day here. Please invite your non-Muslim neighbors, friends, colleagues. You may take some flyers that we have to distribute or give to those who you may want to invite, inshallah. And then tomorrow evening, after Salat al-Maghrib, we have the Laylatul Bara'a program. Maulana Kamiluddin, inshallah, will be speaking to us on this auspicious night. And lastly, next Saturday, inshallah, after Dhuhr Salat, we are hosting Sheikh Hassan Ali from UK. He will be delivering a talk after Dhuhr Salat next Saturday, inshallah. For the topics, inshallah, we will be announcing very soon, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
You need that one? Assalamu alaikum.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله الله تعالى إلى كافة الناس بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة لمن كان يرجو الله واليوم الآخر وذكر الله كثيرا. بارك الله لنا في القرآن العظيم ونفعنا بالآيات والذكر الحكيم. إنه تعالى جواد كريم ملك بر رؤوف رحيم، فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا كما أمر، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له إضغاما لمن جحد به وكفر، وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله سيد الخلائق والبشر. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الله ملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: أرحم أمتي بأمتي أبو بكر، وأشدهم في أمر الله عمر، وأحياهم عثمان، وأخضاهم علي، والحسن والحسين سيدا شباب أهل الجنة، وفاطمة سيدة نساء أهل الجنة. اللهم اغفر لسائر الصحابة والتابعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان، ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقيموا الصلاة. بسم الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استووا استووا. الله أكبر.